In this lesson, I'm going to show you how we can take periodical backups of our MySQL database through our PHP code. And so I'll be basically taking the database backup of my gallery application. Now to do that, I will be using a scheduler. Let's see what are the options. I have command and I have console, right? And what we can do is use the console option. I'll create a new console command. I'll say make console and I'll name it database backup. Now my file is created inside console commands, and this is the file I have. So let's see what is the signature is. The signature is basically, if you see the name of the command in the console, which we see like route cache is the signature and there is the description. So in this case I will say backup database backup, and let's write some description to it. So this command will take a backup of the current database and upload, or rather just the database. Okay, with that done, now let's see what we exactly want to do. But before that I have to register the database backup class. So inside kernel I'll add this class, and now inside my shell, if I run php artisan, scroll up, we'll see that we have our new command listed in the list. So now it's time for us to get into the actual code. Let me close it. And so the handle is the method where we will write our logic. This is the function which will be called. Now what do we want to do? I will run a command, ideally like mysql dump dash u, and then the string which is the username dash p with the password. Then I will have the database name which will be added to an file.sql file, right? To do that through PHP, Symfony has a package. So here is the component. Laravel is already picking up this package, so we don't need to add it. But what it basically does is it says, process equals new process and then ls dash lsa, which will give us the output once we do a process run. So basically that means we can run any command on the console level and get the output. We also have the asynchronous method where while process is running, method is available, and so basically we can write our code post the command is executed. So let's get back to our code editor. It's time to write our code. Let's create the instance. First thing is the file name. So I'll just create a carbon instance and get the file name, which is some date timestamp. Let me import the class and I'll say format. It will be year, then the month, the day, and then I'll say h colon m, whatever h I. So this will give me the hours and the minutes, right? And let's just check if we are getting the correct thing. So run the command php artisan backup database, and in my log I'm getting the file name correctly as required. So first part done. Now let's move ahead. I need the user name of the MySQL database, which is there already in my env file. So I'll say env db underscore username. This is an environment variable. Then I need the password. So I'll say dollar password equals env db underscore password. Then I need the database name, which is again coming from the environment variables. db underscore database. So yeah, that's it. Now is the command string which I will be executing. So I'll say mysql dump dash u user equals dollar username, right? Then the password. Be sure that you don't give any space after the dash p, because then it treats the space as part of the password itself. So yeah, next is the database name, which will be pushed to the file name, which is date.sql. Okay, now I'll need to create the process. So I'll say $process equals new process, and I'll pass the command. I need to import the class here. Okay, that's done. Yes, I have the process. So the next thing is $process, sorry, start. So this will execute the command, and then while $process is running, sorry, okay, when the process is running, I will say $s3 equals storage. So basically what I'm doing is I'm now going to upload the file to the S3 instance, the bucket which I have created, right? Let me import the class, and then so I have the S3 instance, and I will say $s3 put, and then the place where the file will go. In my case, I'll put it in gallery app db slash dot the file name, right, dot sql. This is what I want to put with the file get content from date.sql. Now this is because the SQL file will be created at the root level and not inside the public folder. Okay, so you need to be sure that it's inside the learning L5 folder and not inside the public folder. And then once the upload is done, I'll just delete the file so that we do not keep accumulating all the backup files. All right, so we are almost done. And so we quickly recap. We have the file name, we created the variables which are required for the command string, we create the command, and we have the string. Entire string will be passed. So let's do the documentation, get the variables. Okay, run the command. All right, and then this is where when the process is running or it is done, we upload the file and delete the backup file from the local system. Okay, so now the next step is basically come into the kernel.php. Okay, and let me first check by running it. So I will go in my VM, and so yeah, you need to you need to make sure that you run the command from VM, because MySQL commands will not run from normal places. I am on a homestead machine, so I run PHP artisan backup database, and let me refresh my bucket. And yes, I have the folder, and I have a file which is 1.2 KB, which means the SQL file is created. Alright, so the code is working properly, and the only last piece now remains is basically to schedule it. So we can go inside the schedule function of the kernel.php file, and if you go to the documentation of Laravel, you will see that there are lots of options available. So for example, I'll go to task scheduling, and inside that, frequency options. Yeah, So you can have it like daily at some certain time, or maybe directly if you write daily, it will take it at every midnight, things like that. And so, yeah, I mean, you have a lot of options to play around. You don't need to write any very complicated con- cron level timings, and it will give you a very smooth database backup which is automatically pushed to the S3 bucket. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. That's how we do a database backup. If you like the video, do click on the thumbs up icon and subscribe to my channel.